fun together?
Fun, like.
Do we not have fun together?
Is that a trick question?
Okay, we don't.
There's no right answer.
We don't have fun together.
You guys are always laughing. It's great. It's great.
No, we're not.
You know, it wasn't shocking. These things happen. These things happen.
What can you tell us about what went wrong in the marriage?
I'll tell you that it wasn't some sensationalistic happening.
Infidelity.
No, absolutely not. Nothing sensationalistic.
It takes a lot to overcome. It takes a lot of strength to overcome those things in your life, baby. Everybody knows. We've all been through stuff like that, you know?
Yes.
I'm glad I have both of you to articulate what I'm thinking in my mind.
We got you. I like that. Hey, Diddy, I like that hat you're wearing.
Marc Anthony has been so silent about J-Lo and Diddy for all these years. Most initially, believed that Marc was simply remaining in his lane and moving on after the divorce, keeping it classy. However, it appears that there may have been much more going on behind the scenes, including a purported scheme to remove Marc entirely, according to leaked information from the Diddy case. Some courtroom rumors claim that Marc is now implying that Diddy and J-Lo attempted to permanently silence him because he was too aware of their alleged wrongdoings, and it is beginning to seem more like a warning than an accident when you think back on that enigmatic fall he had backstage years ago, not to mention the timing of Marc's suspiciously close approach and Diddy and J-Lo's breakup. Marc therefore had a front row seat to all the chaos, the secrets, and the actual events. Does this explain why, now that the Diddy trial is intensifying, he is speaking up at last? Did Diddy and J-Lo really attempt to take him out in order to hide their secrets? Let us dissect it. Let us go back in time and briefly discuss J-Lo and Marc Anthony's relationship, because it appeared to be a fairy tale from the outside. It was a real power couple, complete with twins, red carpet glamour, and Latin music aristocracy. But there was supposedly a lot of tension beneath all that glamour. They started dating shortly after J-Lo's well-publicized breakup with Diddy, which is far too close for comfort. It is giving overlap after all. Even back then, people were making fun of her sudden change, asking how she went from being a hip-hop mogul to a salsa ruler in such a short period of time. And let us face it, J-Lo is currently amassing an endless collection of engagement rings. The collection is insane, no offense intended. Ojani Noah, her first husband, even emerged from hiding to reveal that J-Lo was purportedly present at Diddy's freak-offs and even made an appearance on one of those notorious videos. He said what he said, but it is his word now. That being said, the question that has been plaguing people for years is why Marc Anthony never raised his voice. He has stood behind her during interviews with J-Lo, grinning and applauding as if nothing had happened.
You brought back a whole bunch of people, didn't you? Vendido la mente.
What?
Too much talking. Nigger.
However, rumors circulated that it was all for the cameras. Behind closed doors, Marc reportedly feared for his life. Not only that, but following that ugly 99 Club incident that we shall discuss later, folks are now referring to her as Jenny with the Glock. However, Marc, they say he knew too much. Examine the relationship timeline once more. J-Lo and Diddy split up, and shortly after, she starts seeing Marc. There was genuine danger in the air. It was not just a sweet rom-com transition. Furthermore, J-Lo stayed with Diddy even when their love waned. The legal storm that was beginning to erupt around him was the reason she departed. That whole 1999 nightclub shooting? Indeed, that was a sea change. J-Lo was no longer able to put up with Diddy's gangster persona. What people are now actually beginning to notice, though, is her friendship with Diddy. It was more business related and was not really romantic. The mentorship management dynamic between Whitney Houston and Clive Davis was similar, but far more destructive. Diddy has a habit of mentoring up-and-coming musicians, including Justin Bieber, Mary J. Blige, Usher, and yes, J-Lo. As it happens, J-Lo was signed to Epic Records, a record label controlled by Sony, the same company that owned Bad Boy Entertainment, Diddy's label. You guys see the pipeline, do not you? Everything is interconnected.
Because he helped me a lot. He was kind of like a mentor in a way. Not a mentor, but like guided me. He had a way of communicating that put it very plainly, like, don't do that. Or you need to do this, or you need to do that. Don't forget, and I was smart enough to sponge up the things that were...
It does not sound like a lady remembering an old love interest when J-Lo talks about her time with Diddy. She seems to be describing a previous gatekeeper, manager, and supervisor. But in some way, that mentoring evolved into something else. Something tangible and visible, not to mention the iconic Versace dress moment.
Jennifer, this is the first time in 5 or 6 years that I'm sure that nobody is looking at me.
That's very sweet of you.
People are now questioning, though, if all of that was merely public relations spin for something far more sinister going on behind the scenes. Because we now hear that Marc Anthony was nearly dead when he learned of the alleged events that transpired during J-Lo's supposed mentorship with Diddy. During a play in Panama, Marc experienced a bizarre accident when he injured his back after falling down some stairs backstage. Do not believe the press release. It was dismissed as just another mistake. According to sources, Diddy attempted to remove Marc by sending some of his hitters down there, but the plot was unsuccessful. They planned to make it appear to be a tidy, quiet, and unintentional accident. However, Marc made it through, and when? It was too practical. Around that time, rumors about Diddy were already circulating in the background. Even though this was before Cassie and Lil Rod's lawsuit, Diddy's secrets were still a secret. Marc, too. Allegedly, he possessed every receipt, enough to lock Puffy up for life. And you know what? J-Lo allegedly watched and allowed it to occur. And truthfully, you should not be shocked that J-Lo ignored that. Because, let us face it, she would have avoided a great deal of difficulty if Marc had fallen out in an accident. No difficult divorce, no tumultuous custody dispute, and no chance that he would reveal what he knew. The problem is that it would not be the first time that J-Lo has allegedly watched as Diddy mistreated people. Let us take a moment to discuss Kim Porter. She passed away in 2018, as you are all likely aware by now. The internet has been disparaging the cause of death since day one, despite official reports that it was pneumonia. And now that the number of victims participating in this Diddy takedown is steadily increasing, people are revisiting and reassessing everything. Even Al B definitely said he's not buying that pneumonia story. He stated unequivocally that he knows for a fact that Kim did not die naturally and that he intends to testify in the current case. And who is said to have been aware of what was happening the entire time? Jennifer Lopez.
A lot of the stuff, came to surprise, but a lot of the stuff will be revealed because...
You have volunteered to testify at the trial, correct?
Not as of yet. Actually, I was subpoenaed.
Okay.
So my attorneys worked something out. So I believe when the time is right, I'm going to discuss it with my attorneys.
But you're willing to?
Oh, absolutely.
Rumor has it that back in the day, J-Lo was aware of Diddy touching Kim. She allegedly heard things, saw things, and did nothing about it. Since it was not happening to her, she kept silent, did her share, gathered her money, and stayed secured.
He never tried to, straight up, talk to her crazy or anything around people. Never. I never even heard him raise his voice.
J-Lo is also reportedly on the run at the moment. Rumor has it that she escaped to Bali, just like Russell Simmons did when his issue began to catch up with him, since others believe she is evading subpoenas and potential testimony demands. She is being consumed by the internet. Even a comment was made that read, "Run to Bali like Russell Simmons. You have no talent, J-Lo, so no one will miss you." However, it becomes more sinister when one of Diddy's purported victims, Misha, comes out and says in an interview that J-Lo actually saw Diddy doing terrible things to her. What did J-Lo do, too? Nothing at all. Stood there and let it happen without saying a word or moving a finger.
I remember he did what he did to me, and then when it was time for Jennifer Lopez, she was there with a guy, and he was standing there looking disgusted, but didn't nobody save me. She stuck in me, and after that, my eyes were booked the whole.
It is safe to assume that J-Lo has been accused of complicity all along at this point. Even more unsettling is the fact that J-Lo has acknowledged in public that she previously had an affair. She alluded to it in her works and stated it in interviews. She did not specify who, though, and everything suggests it is Diddy.
It takes a lot to overcome. It takes a lot of strength to overcome those things in your life, baby. Everybody knows. We've all been through stuff like that,
Rumor has it that he was the one who injured her. And you know what? It is said that Marc Anthony was aware. Similar to how Cassie supposedly had that horrifying video, Marc apparently observed Diddy touching Jennifer and remained silent, perhaps out of fear, just like everyone else who approached too closely. The public is now demanding answers. People are pleading with J-Lo to come out and tell the truth, to quit being evasive. Comments from fans include items like, if anything like what happened to Cassie happened to her, she needs to come clean. She needs to finally tell what happened in her relationship with Sean. The fact that J-Lo has yet to make a public statement, of course, and that tells it all. She is obviously trying to distance herself from the entire controversy. Radio quiet, no spin from PR, no mysterious captions on Instagram, simply gone. She seems to be attempting to remove herself from Diddy's whole history. The stillness is screaming now though, and let us not forget that the 1999 nightclub shooting is the one item that may really put a lid on the Diddy J-Lo affair, because it is curtains if the rumors are accurate and that case is reopened for both of them. You see, everyone knows that Shine fell back then. He was a soldier who did his duty, 10 years, did not turn on anyone, did not leak. Let us be honest though, the courts have not forgotten the betrayal that Diddy and J-Lo committed when they abandoned him.
Taking the fall means not snitching, not getting your friends in trouble. Even today, I wouldn't want to do anything to get anyone.
Shine's out here now, stating that although he is forgiving of Puff, they are not friends. He may not be seeking retribution, but what about the witnesses? They are a different matter.
It was just craziness.
All you hear, pow, pow, pow. Next thing I know, me and this nigga on the floor, looking at each other. Like, oh shoot, we like, yo.
Natanya Rubin comes in. That night, Sis was shot and she had gunshot fragments in her face. Guess what she is saying now that she is back in the spotlight? In order to utilize those gunshot pieces as proof, she is prepared to have them taken from her own body. She is prepared to go that far. And the most outrageous aspect? She claimed that J-Lo was present and served as Diddy's go-between. Before the police could pin anything on Diddy, she allegedly assisted him in concealing the firearm and slipping out the back.
A woman who shot in the face, who still has bullet fragments 2 inches from her spine. She has 2 children. She has her own business. What is she to do now?
I didn't suffer. I'm willing to have a doctor remove a part of the 9mm bullet in my face so that they can use it as evidence for this trial. And it may cost me my life, but that I'm willing to.
Imagine what J-Lo might have unintentionally said during pillow discussion with Marc Anthony, even if we only have one individual publicly stating this. They have every motive to want Marc quiet as well, supposedly, if he truly understands how it all transpired, how they allegedly planned it, cleaned it up, and then walked away with it, similar to their efforts to eliminate any traces of that time period. And pay attention, this next section is reminiscent of a legal thriller. Rumor has claimed that Diddy and J-Lo bought off witnesses and jurors to influence the initial trial. Money talks, and both of them were riding high on fame and wealth at the time, so they kept their hands clean while Shine was incarcerated. Who is to say there was not a single spectacular performance in the courtroom?
Puff had witnesses that come in to testify against Shine and say they saw Shine do the shoot.
This is the true jaw dropper though. Diddy and J-Lo allegedly had a covert secret marriage. Indeed, it was a discreet, legally binding union that prevented J-Lo from being coerced into testifying against him in court. Additionally, Marc has been holding on to a bombshell if that marriage was never dissolved prior to her relationship with Marc Anthony, because when that is revealed, it will demonstrate that J-Lo is unable to testify. The excuse was a lie. The feds will go in so quickly that it will make everyone's head spin. It is a cover-up, a ploy to protect Diddy and herself.
And there's also the rumor that got covered up very quick on why she didn't testify at the trial on Diddy's behalf or anyone's behalf for that matter. Rumor has it they got secretly married. So she didn't.
The twist that comes next may be the most outrageous of them. There is another, perhaps more disturbing aspect of the split, even though it has been reported that Ben Affleck divorced J-Lo after purportedly viewing some freak-off recordings about her history with Diddy. Rumor has it that Ben was not just repulsed, but also supposedly afraid for his life. You see, Ben and J-Lo's divorce was surreptitiously finalized about the same time Diddy was imprisoned. Ben reportedly concerned that he might also become a target if Diddy and J-Lo were actually involved in any nefarious activities from the past, particularly if J-Lo had confided in him. I have never told anyone this before. Pillow chat, late night confessions, etc. And we have seen what happens to those who are close to Diddy. Ben reportedly feared that hitters may be dispatched to handle him if things went messy, just in case he found out too much. Look, we may never find out if that portion is true, although there is no documentation indicating that Ben feared for his life. The timing, the divorce, the silence, and the insider rumors rumors all start to seem very suspect. For example, when you join the dots, a dark picture appears, and if we are being honest, it appears like Marc Anthony nearly turned into yet another purported victim, entangled in whatever web Diddy and J-Lo allegedly created because he knew too much and was not going to keep quiet, especially after all these years. Perhaps he heard something, or perhaps he saw something. Whatever it was, it supposedly made him a target because of what he was going to reveal. I am giving it to you now, though. This story is too twisted not to discuss. Therefore, I need to hear what you guys think. Do you believe that Marc Anthony's life was supposedly in jeopardy because he knew too much? Could J-Lo have been engaged in Diddy's long-term cover-up? And is there a chance that the entire 1999 shooting incident would reappear and bring everyone to their knees? In the comments section below, let us discuss it.